Hi everyone, welcome to the next episode of Microsoft 365 Business Boost. I'm Nick DeCourcy,
I'm Therman Trotman.
and on this episode, we're going to be thinking about AI influencers and why you might not want to be influenced by all of them. We're going to be talking about Microsoft Designer, and is it time to make the switch over to using this new piece of software from Microsoft? And then we're going to be looking at the Copilot app. We're starting to see Copilot everywhere. You can now get it on your phone. Is this any good? And should you be downloading it?
All right, Nick, I want to talk about AI influencers who you should not be influenced by. This is a pretty important topic. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, this is something, Thurman, that I'm getting increasingly frustrated about, if I'm completely honest,
Mm-hmm.
in that I see a growing trend of on various social media platforms, and I think probably the most important one that people are generally using for business purposes is LinkedIn. But people that I would probably define as AI influencers rather than AI experts or AI consultants, just coming up with an endless stream of AI apps to go out and try with the implied kind of this is something that can help you in your business. And the one that kind of got me this week, and I decided I wrote something on LinkedIn about this in the end, was an app that's designed to help you manage your spreadsheets and change your spreadsheets using AI, which sounds like a great thing. Like that's very interesting. But heading over to that app's website, one of the first things I do whenever looking at one of these tools is I hit the privacy policy. I want to know what that company is going to do with my data, or I want to know where that data is going to reside. I want to know whether they're holding on to it. I want to know whether they're going to use it for commercial purposes. And guess what I got?
What'd you get?
I got a big 404 error. That page does not exist. Then I went into terms of use. 404 error. That page does not exist.
Wow.
So this company had or individual had bothered to put up a website, bothered to develop their AI extension that, by the way, you have to install in your Excel. So it's sitting there; it's able to see everything that's going on in your Excel spreadsheet once you open it up. And they hadn't even bothered to create a privacy policy. And I think this is one of the big things of the AI age is what is going on with your data? Like, where is your data going? Who's able to look at it? Who's able to get it? And I think this is something that's been important for a while. But now, with the rise of AI, it's time for everyone to get serious about this. And if you've got data in your company, that data is important to you. It may not be important for legal reasons. It may just be your designs of what you're planning to do next year. But it might be important for legal reasons. It might be your company's data, your employees' data, your customers' data. And you can't just go sharing this willy-nilly with any service out there because it might make your life a bit easier without understanding what that organization is going to do with that data.
Yeah, but the problem is that it's not even something that you should be just now learning about. If AI came about 10 years ago, the way that we use it today anyway, if that came about 10 years ago, it'd be kind of like understandable that just everyone is going crazy and putting their stuff in there. But we're at a time where you have to be mindful. You have to, at least in the back of your head at all times, know you're handing something over. You're handing data over. It doesn't matter what app, what circumstance. Let's say, for instance, your emails. If you sign up for Gmail and it's free, which it is, you are giving permission. You're handing over the stuff that you do in email to a company called Google, and they have access to your stuff. Your emails sit on their servers. That's just, if you don't know about technology, at minimum, you should know that. And that is way back. That's like with email. You know what I'm saying? So these days with AI, you should know that when you type something, into any one of these AI apps, you're handing data over. It's even worse if you work at a company and you say, "Ooh, I'm going to take this spreadsheet that we use at our company and upload it to this app." Once you do that, there's no turning back. You are handing data over. So I don't if you don't read the privacy policy, if you don't read the terms, don't upload any data
Mm.
because you don't know. If you're confused or if you're worried, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go crazy with your own personal data, I still don't recommend that. But at minimum, you're working for an organization who's entrusted you to manage this data, to work this data. You cannot just go uploading it into an application, especially one of these new applications where here's a scenario. Chat GPT, the regular one that you don't pay for,
Mm.
you could put in all types of stuff in there, and within a matter of seconds, it will come back with some high quality, good information. What do you think the paid version, where you upload files, can do with your data in the background? If this is an AI company, it could run circles around your data. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So the thing that I always tell companies, the people who we want to talk to here on this platform, is business owners. And I've been saying the number one thing you can do since AI has been, popularized is educate. Educate, 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 educate. You have to get in between the AI and the person who works at your organization and tell them the basics. Here's what happens when you do X, Y, and Z. So please don't go hanging out information into this application. Terms and conditions are not. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, I mean, there are differences between different platforms. We know that if you're
Mhm.
using Bing Chat Enterprise, there's commercial data protection there. We know that Microsoft has committed to not using that data for commercial purposes or in their model training. We can be assured of that. Now, the other way, I will get people saying to me, well, how can you be sure? And I'm kind of like, well, do you use OneDrive? Do you use SharePoint? Do you use Outlook? Like, that's your data. Just because you're using an AI tool doesn't mean that your relationship with Microsoft is suddenly different than when you decided to put all of your financial information in your OneDrive. You know, you're still uploading information into the cloud.
You've already
Um,
trusted them.
yeah,
You've already
exactly.
agreed to trust them with your data.
Precisely. We've already given them our trust. And so far as I'm concerned, the guarantee that we're going to respect your data to the same extent that we do when it's sitting in your Microsoft 365 tenant is good enough for me.
Mhm.
I don't know how we could do better than that. The same with OpenAI and ChatGPT. We know that there are ways to opt out of data collection there. They've been transparent about that. They've also been transparent about when you haven't opted out, what they can do with it. We
Mhm.
know that they've created an enterprise tier. We know they've just created a team license that you can buy that has opt out by default. My problem is not these services that come from big companies. Even the example you give, like Google, we know they're harvesting information. Yeah, we do know that. My problem is these little no name new app startups without any foundation of this is your data. You need to worry about your data. In my
Right.
view, if you've got someone in the tech space that isn't on a regular basis highlighting things about compliance, about security, about data protection, I would steer clear of what they're saying a lot of the time. I think it's on all of us, and most of the creators that I see either publishing blogs or other types of content, whether it be videos and stuff like that, they may not be highlighting this in every single case because it may not be relevant in every single case. But where it is relevant, a lot of people are doing a very good job at raising those concerns.
Yeah, you definitely got to lean on your cybersecurity people. And those cybersecurity people need to lean into AI. They can't brush it off. It's not a thing that they could just be like, I'll get to that later. If you're a cybersecurity professional, you need to be knee deep in AI yesterday. Whether it's you, if you run the shop and you don't have any people, then hey, it's on you. Or you need to hire people. If you got the budget to hire some people, you need to hire a AI SME, a subject matter expert that does something. They're either doing research or they're doing well, number one, it should be research. That's the primary thing I would have them doing. And then reporting on that research. You cannot ignore it. You like it's look, I don't want to be sky is falling. I'm not gonna be sky is falling. But AI is powerful, extremely powerful. And for you to be running a business and not knowing what's going on in that space is kind of crazy to me. You need to know what's going on at a minimum, understanding what why it's popular. Because AI has been around. It's probably not just been as good. Your what is that? The Alexa that sits inside of your house. That's AI. Wasn't that good? I
We're
can't stand
sorry
it.
to anyone that just ordered something on Amazon because of Therman. Just putting that out there.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. It's all good though. But yeah, you need to be aware of that if you're a cybersecurity professional, and if not, you need to hire some folks to get on that yesterday.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's all part of as part of the tech community. It's important that we're all singing from the same hymn sheet on this,
Mm-hmm.
and I just think if you've seen someone that's coming up with a trendy new app every day for AI, yeah, that's interesting. But what they're producing for you is entertainment. They're not producing for you real thoroughly vetted recommendations of what you should be using in your business to get ahead. And I think so long as you are aware of that, like you might enjoy reading gossip magazines, but hopefully you don't think that everything you're reading is real fact. I think it's in
Right.
the same category.
Yeah. I agree. And one more thing, I don't want to say, when you it's not just AI and like how a cybersecurity professional will say, "Hey, listen, this is my job, but it's also on you." That also on you part is very important, which is what we're talking about, which is like taking that data and uploading it. So if the company puts policies in place, the policies are in place. That's fine, but you have to follow them. You still have to do what you're supposed to do. If a company comes to your house and installs one of these digital locks
Mm.
right on your door, where you get to type a code and you no longer need a key. You can use a key if you want to, but now you can just type this code. They have installed this technology for you, and you're good to go. It is now on you to decide if you're gonna only use that lock, or only use the lock and the key, or use a lock period. Because maybe, hey, I'm in a nice neighborhood, I think it's all good until something goes wrong. It's on you. You still have to do your part. They have done their part. Now you have to pick up the slack and maintain. Now you can get upset if the technology isn't working. Like, hey, when I try to lock my door from across the street, it's not working. That's the technology, but it's still on you to lock your freaking doors. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
no, exactly. And if you're a Microsoft 365 subscriber, then there are tools within Microsoft 365 that can help you with this. There are tools like data loss prevention.
Mhm.
There's sensitivity labels. There's various different things that you can do within your tenant for data classification to try to prevent the wrong stuff from leaving your business. But you're right, Thurman. This comes down to people. This is one of those issues where it's 80% people and 20% technology,
Mhm.
and you must get it in the right balance, or else something is going to go wrong. So, thinking about things that business owners might be doing with technology, I know one of the other topics that we're going to look into today, Thurman, is Microsoft Designer. And is it time to start thinking about jumping in there? Now, I'm a little bit apprehensive about making recommendations, given that I've just been berating people who have been making recommendations for new technology. But please, Thurman, tell us what they do with your data as part of your response here, or else that would be really bad practice on our part.
Oh man. All right. Well, first of all, again, we're talking about Microsoft Designer. So we're not talking about designer, we're talking about Microsoft Designer. You hear that term, you hear that word Microsoft, and the level of security you have come to expect from Microsoft, that's what you get with these tools. This is how it is. So unless you level it up, then you get even higher levels of security, or the policies in place that you were just talking about. So um, now listen, I have been using Designer off and on. I like it. It's cool. Now obviously when I use the interface, I recognize that it kind of looks like Canva. And I then feel like, okay, so just like a lot of tools that Microsoft uses or creates, They are heavily influenced by somewhere else. And this one, I'm a Canva user too. Although I'm not big on Canva because I still can't design. I'm not good at Canva. So I still have to ask other people that, hey, use my Canva and design something for me. Now, the question I'm going getting at here is, should you, if you're a Canva user, should you jump ship to Microsoft Designer? And my answer there would be no. I don't think you should. I don't think it's time. Um, because if you are a heavy Canva user and um, find it valuable and your team use it and all this other stuff, Microsoft Designer is not there just yet. It's still, in its infancy. Now, I will say, unless Canva uses this, because I haven't checked, but I'm pretty sure Canva has an AI component to it right now. The cool thing about Microsoft Designer is this AI component, which I've actually used. This has helped me. I'll just go in there, describe a design, or take one of their templates and replace the words in the design, and then I'm good to go. I have me an image that I can now go and edit. But me personally, I'm still gonna say, hey, don't jump ship yet. Um, Continue to use Canva. Let Designer get a little bit more sophisticated before you jump in. Now, Nick, you have used Designer, correct?
Yeah, I have used Designer, and I kind of like it, but I'm
Are you? Oh,
going
wait,
to.
wait. Are you a Canva user as well?
I've used Canva a little bit. I've never used Canva a great deal,
Okay,
but I
okay.
have used. I have used it a bit. I generally, when I'm doing any design work, I'm using Affinity Photo. That's the product that I tend to use.
Is there an AI
Um,
component on that?
Not really, no. So what I've been using Designer for is that AI image generation piece.
Mm.
And I like the fact that you can have a workflow of creating something with AI in Designer, and then you go ahead and you move it into a design, and you can use it. It's a bit of a better workflow than just creating a file in ChatGPT or with Bing Image Creator, because you've got the design tools there around it.
Hmm.
But I would tend to agree with you that from what I've seen of other products that are out there, this is getting there, but it's not fully there.
Yeah, Nick. So just to double back real quick, I want to make sure that people understand that there's two different things happening when you talk about the security that you get. If you're logging in with your what's a Microsoft account,
Mm.
then that's different than your work account, which is also managed by Microsoft. But there are two sets of security. So you probably in Designer don't want to go in there and start uploading proprietary, images and thinking that it's all good. These things are, again, it might seem like annoying or a lot to know, but that's why you got to have an expert. I mean, if you can't afford one, then you obviously it's on you. But it's important to know and take note of what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Microsoft doesn't make this easy.
No, they
I don't
don't.
think any of these big companies, these big tech companies, they don't make it easy, and they could make it a lot easier, a lot more straightforward to understand what's going on. And sometimes, I get confused about what's logged in where. I get this issue all the time where I go to forms and I end up on my personal account rather than on my
Mm,
business account. That seems to be a particular issue with forms. Um, but the fact that there's different policies around those two platforms is very confusing.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I kind of understand it. Like when you're not paying for something, you are the product.
Yeah. Hmm.
But I think at a minimum there should be base standards that we could expect, because we're working through an account that's a Microsoft account, and if Microsoft wants to provide those services, then maybe they should be made to kind of eat it in a way. But that's not the world that we live in right now, so
Right.
you do have to watch out for these things.
Um. Now, listen, real quick. I want to transition to this last topic about Copilot, the new Copilot app. It is so that's also some place where you can actually upload images. Uh, because you can switch on to Chat GPT 4. It's a whole thing. It's very strange. So if you have the Copilot app, you can switch on to ChatGPT 4, and this is for free. But if you use OpenAI's ChatGPT 3, then you have to pay to use ChatGPT 4. So, a little confusion there. And I've been using it so far. But before I jump in here, I wanted to get your thoughts because I know you've been using the app too. What do you think so far of the Copilot app?
Um, I'm not that impressed with it, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's go back to what type of account did you log in with when you started using the Copilot app?
Mm-hmm.
You logged in with a Microsoft account. So what you were missing was that you are protected green bubble at the top of your screen saying that you have commercial data protection turned on.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, this is a consumer app. The confusing thing is it's exactly the same interface that you see as if you've been using Copilot in the Bing app all along. But with the Bing app, you can log in using your Microsoft 365 account and you get that commercial data protection. So I think this runs into exactly the same set of issues. Now, in terms of using the app, I think it's great. I think the fact that you can use GPT-4 for free, whether you're using a Microsoft account or a Microsoft 365 account, doesn't matter. You can still use GPT-4 for free.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take a look side by side at the type of responses you get from ChatGPT with paid GPT-4 versus Bing Chat or Copilot with free GPT-4, then you start to understand that there's more going on here than just the AI model that you're working with.
I agree.
Microsoft clearly wants to give you the most economically efficient answer it can while using that technology. Whereas ChatGPT generally gives you a fuller comparison, a fuller answer. And I've done I actually put out a video on YouTube a few months ago where I did a comparison between Bing Chat and ChatGPT. I think I included Bard in there as well at the time,
Mm-hmm.
just showing you the different types of responses that you get, and even using the same model between Bing Chat and ChatGPT, you see vast differences.
Yeah, I am a big proponent of if they can, then they will. And I'm talking about my end users. And ChatGPT in my, I feel the same way. Let's just first start off that way because I've been using ChatGPT, the free version, since I don't know a few months ago.
Hmm.
And I tried this Copilot app, and I'm like, all right, this is cool. I want this because it has real time data. I can ask it current questions, and it gives good answers. It's cool, but it's still I have not found it to be better than the free version of ChatGPT. It
Hmm.
just doesn't. It doesn't compare, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And with that, I'm just like, what's the point? Why would I go over to the Copilot app if ChatGPT is better? And that's what users do. That's how users think. If this is easier, if I can do this, if I have the opportunity to do this and this is available to me, then I'm going to go over there. I'm not going to use this one unless you either fix it or that's it. It's dead in the water. I'm never coming back and trying it again. That's
Hmm.
how users think.
Hmm.
So will I use it? I'm going to use it because I'm trying to stay on top of it to see, what I could tell my end users they can do. But until they get to where they need to get to, I'm going to keep using ChatGPT because it's really, really good and
Hmm.
it's free.
Hmm. Hmm.
I know both are free, but I mean, it's without even having to pay to use ChatGPT 4. Regular ChatGPT is really, really good.
Yeah, I think for most things, GPT 3.5 is fine for most use cases. I think that
Right.
probably what we're seeing, and the Copilot app, we're getting this kind of ecosystem of Copilot, right? And this is Microsoft's play on this, that we want Copilot everywhere. And if this vision of Copilot being an assistant that you're going to rely on from when you wake up in the morning to when you go to bed at night is going to become a reality, then it needs to have a presence on your phone. Simply having a presence on your PC is not good enough. Now,
Mhm.
my understanding, and I've been working on a video covering some of these topics. I've been looking into it a little bit. My understanding is that we're likely to see local AI processing in two places. We're going to be getting new PCs where we have local AI processing through like the 14th generation Intel processors. I think that the mobile ones now have AI processing on the SoC. But somewhere that we've had AI processing for a long time is in many phones. And so I wonder whether by having a dedicated, discrete Copilot app, we're going to start to see Microsoft pushing experiences, local experiences that we're going to start to see on the desktop to similar local experiences that we're going to see on the phone.
Gotcha. Yeah. Good point. Or thought process at least. Yeah. Only time will tell. We're gonna have to see. I'm obviously excited about it, but I'm still always like, Microsoft and all these other large companies have tons and tons and tons of users to manage. Just managing a 5,000 user company can get out of control. These people are managing so many people who we all don't work for the same organization. We just exist. You know what I'm saying? So things will get confusing because they're trying to take on too much. And it's not just Microsoft, it's all these big companies.
No. They're in a race, I think, Therman. I think this is the thing, and they want to get a foothold. The place where it's going to be difficult for Microsoft to get a foothold is on our phones. When we think about there being an AI arms race, Apple is not at the front of the pack when it comes to this AI stuff. I don't think Google is at the front of the pack when it comes to this AI stuff. But as AI becomes more a part of our lives as opposed to a part of our work, or increasingly a part of our work for people, Microsoft is not in a strong position because it doesn't have a mobile play. Like
Right.
Windows Phone is not a thing anymore. So
I'm good with that though.
well,
I'm okay with that.
I mean, I used I never used the most recent iterations of Windows Phone, but I was a Windows, was it Windows CE is what it was called a long time ago, was the mobile version of it. I'm talking like 15 or 20 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, I remember CE.
I was a very uncool kid back in the day because I had my little like Windows Phone with a little stylus and so on and so forth. I thought I was cool. No one else thought I was cool. They were like, what the heck is this? Like pulling out like little yeah. But I thought back in the day Windows had a strong play here, but it just kind of disappeared. But
Well, I'm sorry. What I mean by I'm good with that is I'm okay with them now having to figure it out, because it's annoying to me when you are half a monopoly. So you have phones, you beat everybody to AI, and now you're trying to do this. It gets a little frustrating to me sometimes. I like the competition. So I like that Google, who everyone would have expected, where Microsoft is right now with AI, that should have been Google. Yeah, everybody would have probably thought that would have been Google. But it's not. And now Google has to step up and try to figure it out. How are they going to fight back against Microsoft, who's leading the pack with AI right now? And now they could look and think, all right, well, they could have work, they could have the desktop, but we got the phones. So they're going to have to do something about that. I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with, well, I'm also okay with, not having a Windows phone. I never use one. I'm okay with that.
I miss my stylus, Therman.
Get a Samsung, you know what I'm saying? A Note with a stylus. Listen, so before we get out of here, let us know where people can find you, or the best place to get in contact with you, or anything you got going on.
Reach out to me on LinkedIn. Go take a look at there's a lot of different videos that I put out on various things, Microsoft and AI related. But I think, like you, the best place to really connect is on LinkedIn. Or if you're interested in services, then head over to my website, brightideasagency.com, and take a look there.
Good deal. Same here. Find me on LinkedIn, Therman Trotman. I'm there within 24 hours. I'm there every day. So within 24 hours, I will respond to your DM. And if you want to see some videos on YouTube, just look up the SharePoint Help Desk on YouTube, and you're good to go. So we'll see you next time, Nick. It was good chatting. See y'all in the next episode.
Yeah, see you, everyone. Take care.